Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent, and today we are going to talk about the chapter that is our environment. This is a very important chapter in NCERT. Okay, generally students avoid this chapter, but I must say that it is very scoring chapter, so you must pay very sincere attention in it. Okay, so let's start the chapter that is our environment. Our environment, if we talk about the title, our environment means everything which surrounds us, okay, and that influence the organism, that is environment. Okay, what is environment? Environment, if we talk about the environment, that what is environment? Everything that surrounds an organism and influence it. Okay, and influence it. So that is known as its environment, and thus we can say everything, as I included here, as I said here, that everything. So what is the everything? It may be living and it may be non-living. Okay, so thus we can say the components of the environment are what? They are living and non-living. Okay, living components and non-living components. Non-living components. So thus we can say that the environment has two components, living components and non-living components. So here the living components are known as biotic factors or biotic components. They are known as biotic components. Clear? It's known as biotic component, means they are living, and non-living components are known as abiotic components. Okay, so thus we can say that environment has two main components. What are they? They are biotic and abiotic components. Here you can see that the living things which are present in our surrounding, what are they? Like they are plants, animals, all the decomposers like bacteria, fungi. Okay, they are living things, so they are the biotic components of the environment. Okay, and if we talk about the non-living things around an organism, what are they? They are water, soil, air, minerals, light, temperature, all those things, okay, which influence an organism. They are abiotic factors, means they are non-living components of the environment. Clear? So here I think it's clear to you what is environment. Environment means everything that surrounds an organism, and influence it is known as its environment. And environment has two components. What are they? Biotic components and abiotic components. Clear? Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. Clear? Now we will talk about the study of environment. Here we studied what is environment, and the study of environment is known as ecology. Okay, so next point is ecology. What is ecology? Study of environment is known as ecology. The study of environment. Okay, so here we can say that the ecology is study of environment, means whatever the biotic and abiotic factors are present in the environment, they cooperate with each other, they are influenced with each other. Okay, and the study of those biotic and abiotic factor similarly is known as ecology. Okay, now next we will talk about ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Okay, so here we can say that the ecosystem is the structural and functional unit of biosphere. We can say that ecosystem is the structural and functional unit of biosphere. Okay, it is the structural and functional unit of biosphere, and it is open system, and generally it is based on the sunlight. Okay, and we can say it starts from the sunlight. Okay, it is an open system and based on sunlight. How it is based on sunlight? You know, I'll teach you everything further in details, that whatever the sunlight reaches on the earth's surface, and plant trap the sunlight and make the food. Okay, then those plants are eaten by the herbivores, and those herbivores are eaten by the carnivores. So we can say that the sun is the main source of energy on the earth. And here, as we are talking about the ecosystem, which includes both biotic factors and abiotic factors, so we can say that it is an open system and it is based on sunlight, or we can say generally it starts from the sunlight. Okay, and another point is that the ecosystem may be small or may be large. It may be small or large. Okay, so thus what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is the system in which all the biotic and abiotic factors are influenced with each other, they cooperate with each other, and then they function accordingly. Okay, here we can see what are the abiotic factor here: sunlight and heat. This is the abiotic factor. Okay, then we can see termite molds. What are they? These are the living factors. Trees, plants, okay, fungi, these are decomposers. Insects, water. Here water is what? Water is abiotic factor. Okay, so here thus we can say that in the ecosystem, biotic and abiotic factors work together, influence each other, okay, to do their activities. Clear? So in the ecosystem, what is ecosystem? In the ecosystem, generally ecosystem is the structural and function unit of biosphere. Why? Because in it, abiotic and biotic factors are influenced with each other and they work with each other. Okay, clear? Now we will talk about the types of ecosystem. Next is types of ecosystem. Types of ecosystem. Generally, these ecosystems are of different types. Sometimes they are based on the nature, they are based on the duration, and they are based on the size. So we can say that on the basis of the nature, duration, and size, the ecosystem are of three types. Okay, first of all, we will talk about the ecosystem based on nature. Ecosystem based on nature. So on the basis of nature, ecosystem is of two types: natural ecosystem, okay, and then artificial ecosystem. First of all, we will talk about natural ecosystem. So on the basis of nature, we can say that the ecosystem is of two types. What is that? Natural ecosystem, and artificial ecosystem. Okay. Natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem means it occurs in the nature itself. Okay, there is no human interference in it. If we talk about the artificial ecosystem, this is man-made ecosystem and also known as man-made ecosystem because it is made by the human only. Okay, so here first of all we will talk about natural ecosystem. So natural ecosystem is what? It occurs naturally without human interference. Okay, this is natural ecosystem, and if we talk about artificial ecosystem, then it is maintained by men. Okay, and also known as man-made ecosystem. Okay, now look here, if we talk about the natural ecosystem, then again it is classified into two groups. It is of two types. What are they? Terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial means which is on the land, and aquatic related to water. So if we talk about the ecosystem which is based on the land, which is found on the land, that is terrestrial. What are the different types of terrestrial ecosystem? They are grasslands, forest and desert. And if we talk about the aquatic ecosystem, then what are they? They are of again two types, marine oceans and freshwater like lakes. Clear? So here we can again classify it that let me draw the classification of natural ecosystem. Number one is ecosystem based on nature. So it is of two types. What are they? Natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural and artificial. Okay. Natural ecosystem. Fine. So again natural ecosystem is of two types. What are they? One is, what are they? Aquatic and terrestrial. Okay, aquatic and terrestrial. If we talk about the aquatic, then again it is classified freshwater and marine. Freshwater and marine. Clear? Okay, so freshwater, what are the examples of freshwater? Then freshwater is again of three types. What are they? Lantic, lotic and wetlands. Okay, lantic, lotic and wetlands. And marine. Marine is again of three types. What are they? They are coastal areas, then upwelling regions, and the third one is what? Ocean. Clear? So it is the classification of aquatic ecosystem. Then terrestrial, here we can see that the terrestrial has of three types: grassland, forest and desert. Okay, so here we can mention that the terrestrial are again of three type. What are they? What are they? Grasslands, then desert and forest. Clear? Now let's talk about the artificial ecosystem. It was all about the natural ecosystem, that the natural ecosystem means in which the ecosystem which occurs naturally. Okay, there is no no interference of the human. It is of two type, terrestrial and aquatic. Now we will talk about the artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem or also known as man-made ecosystem. It is of two type. It is generally what are the examples of artificial, which is of man-made, aquarium, crop fields, garden. Okay, these are the examples of artificial ecosystem which is made by the human. Croplands, gardens and aquarium. Clear? So, on the basis of nature, ecosystem is of two type, natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem is again of two type, aquatic and terrestrial. Aquatic ecosystem is again of two type, freshwater and marine. Freshwater is again classified in further groups, that is lantic, lotic and wetlands. Marine is again of three type, coastal, upwelling and oceans. Now let's talk about the terrestrial. Grassland, desert and forest. Next is artificial ecosystem which is man-made, that is croplands, gardens and aquariums. Clear? So here we have studied about the ecosystem which is based on nature. Now the ecosystem which is based on duration. Ecosystem based on duration. Okay, so ecosystem based on duration is of two type. What are they? Temporary ecosystem, and permanent ecosystem. Okay. If we talk about temporary ecosystem, then what is temporary ecosystem? For example, ponds, okay, or we can say rainwater or rain water pond. Okay, generally these are short living ecosystem. Okay, so we can say these are short living or short lived ecosystem. Okay, permanent means long living ecosystem, means they have a long life. Okay, and what are they? Desert, forest, rivers, etc. Okay, so these are based on duration, on the time period. On the basis of time period, ecosystems are of two type, temporary ecosystem and permanent ecosystem. Temporary ecosystem which are living for the short time, okay, which are available for the short time, and permanent ecosystem which are available for the long life. Okay, they have a long life. Next is ecosystem based on size. Based on size. So ecosystem based of size are of two types, small ecosystem. Example of small ecosystems are flower pot. Okay, what are the examples? Flower pot and aquarium. Okay, then next is big or large ecosystem. Then what are the examples of it? Forest, desert. Okay, so here we studied that what is ecosystem. Ecosystem means the structural and functional unit of biosphere in which all the biotic and abiotic factors work together or they are influenced by each other. Okay, then we studied that the ecosystem is of three type. On the basis of nature it is of two type. On the basis of size it is again of two type, and on the basis of duration it is of two type. Okay, so here we have studied about the ecosystem. Now we will talk about the components of the environment in the detail. Means we will talk about abiotic and biotic factors. Okay, so here we studied about the ecosystem. Now we will talk about the components of environment. First of all, we will talk about abiotic components. Okay, so what are abiotic components? Abiotic components means non-living components of the environment. Here we can mention that non-living components of the environment. Okay, and what are they? Generally they are of three types. Okay, these are non-living components of the ecosystem and generally they are of three types. So abiotic components, here we can mention that abiotic components are of three types. Okay, what are they? Number one is inorganic substances. Okay, then organic compounds and climatic factors. Okay, so these are the three main types of abiotic components. First of all, we will talk about inorganic substances. So what are the inorganic substances present in the environment? They are like carbon, nitrogen, okay, etc. and their compounds like water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so here we can see that water and carbon dioxide, which is generally found in the air, that is the inorganic substance which is found in the ecosystem. Okay, that is known as abiotic component. Next, we will talk about organic compounds. What are the organic compounds? So, organic compounds are what? Like carbohydrates. Let me mention here carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, okay, etc. Nucleic acid, etc. Okay, generally these organic compounds are found in all the living organisms and in the dead organic material. Clear? So when the dead organic material is decomposed by the decomposers like bacteria and fungi, then the inorganic materials are released in the environment. Clear? Now next is, here we can see what are the organic components. As I told you, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, all are present in which? They are present in all the living as well as dead organisms. Okay. Now next is climatic factors. What are the different climatic factors which are known as abiotic components? They are temperature. Here let me mention the examples. Temperature, humidity. Okay. So these are the climatic factors. They all are together known as these three: inorganic, organic and climatic factors. They all together are known as abiotic factors of ecosystem. Here we can see wind, sunlight, soil, water, atmosphere, temperature. So all these known living components are known as abiotic components of the ecosystem. Here, so in this lecture what we studied about the environment, means what is the environment. Then we studied the study of environment, that is ecology. Then we studied what is ecosystem. Okay, then we studied what are the different types of ecosystems, and then we studied about the abiotic components. In our next lecture, we will talk about the biotic components and then food chain and food web. Till then, take care. Thank you.